Oh, hello, welcome. In today's video, we're going to talk about how to clean your own vintage lenses. Now, I feel a bit dumb. I've been using vintage lenses for probably more than a decade with my various Leica cameras, and I've never ever cleaned any of my lenses. I got inspired by one of my patrons, Toby, who cleans his lenses and kind of calibrates his own lenses and remounts his own lenses and does everything and makes it all look so easy. And I was like, Toby, what tools do you use and how do you clean your own lenses? Because I just thought it was really complicated, so I just avoided it. This is not a deep dive on how to dismantle a particular lens. There's lots of much better videos on YouTube than what I can show you, but I will show you like the minimum kit you need to be able to open a lens up and give it a quick wipe, and it will instantly improve it. So without further ado, I'll flip the camera and I'll show you some of the tools that I've bought. Should be a quick video, and I'll just give you a checklist of what I use, and maybe that'll help you if you've never cleaned your own lenses. These are not perhaps every tool you can buy, and if you've got some tips, of course, let us know in the comments below. Let me flip the camera and we'll get started. If you've seen this channel before, you know I often normally talk about Leica things, Leica lenses, but for this example it might be easier to show you something bigger. So this is a large format lens. You may have seen my 4x5 videos as well on an Intrepid board. That's what that is. The reason I grabbed this is I want to show you what this tool is used for, and it's easier to show you with a big lens than a small lens. Right, can you see that hole there? Hopefully it's going to pick up. There's one there and there's always one opposite on the other side. That's the same whether it's a big lens or a small lens. There's one that, see the hole there and there. What this tool is all you do is you set your width by turning these screws to the desired width of the lens. So where the holes there. So you get it to the right width, then you lock your tool down to make sure it doesn't move, and then you can turn the lens. I saw this tip on YouTube and I thought it was really good. Turn the lens and not the tool. Keep the tool static, and that way you're not going to slip and you've got more control. And now I can remove the retaining ring. I think that's the correct word for it. So the retaining ring is now loose, see? So that's what this is. So these tools, they're on eBay, they're maybe, I can't remember, 20, 30 pounds I think. They come with different tips, so you can use screwdriver style tips or like points like this. Points are better for these sorts of lenses because, as you can see, the hole is absolutely tiny that you're grabbing onto, if you can see that there. So tool number one is one of these. You use tools like this to unscrew the retainer rings to get the fronts or backs off your lenses. It's also useful for large format lenses because you can use them to attach the lens to the lens board and make it secure. So that's the reason I bought it originally. The second tool that you want is a suction cup. Now mine came with this tool. I bought this and this and this, these extra suction cups all as one kit on eBay. I can put links to eBay if you want to buy anything. Obviously not sponsored. And then what you use this for is you use it to lift off your glass element. And it's a really nice way to be able to control your movement. And then you can wipe the inside and say, there's your inner element there. So you can wipe this one, you can wipe that one, etc. Next, you need some cleaning products. So to clean your lenses, most people seem to use either lighter fluid or isopropanol, which is the 99.9% proof there. 99.9% alcohol. You use that on some microfiber cloths, and then you can use that to carefully wipe each element and then check that you've got removed as much dirt as possible. If you want to use gloves, you can use the cotton gloves, so you're not worried about getting any fingerprints on your glass elements. And to hold the elements, you can use another tool. These are these silicone, I don't know what you call them, like rings, I guess. There's lots of different sizes, and they've got multiple purposes. So you can use them. One, you can use it to put your glass on while you then wipe it with your alcohol. Or two, another way you can use them is you can use them to, trying to find one of the right size. Put that on there for a second. They all stack together so they fit all sizes. You can then use it also to like grab one end of your lens to unscrew your lens. So this is obviously not quite the right size for this one. Maybe this one's a better example. So you put that on the front of your lens, hold the lens tight. There you go, and I've just literally unscrewed the front of my Scimitar lens. So now I can clean inside this lens as well. In terms of lights, I find a mobile phone is very good. If you use a torch on a mobile phone, it's a good way to see. Look at that. And all I did, this is probably the easiest lens to take to pieces. All I did was use this suction cup. You could use like a rubber coated gardening glove. You get those in the UK. Anything to give you some grip. And then yeah, you can take them to pieces. So tool number 3, the silicone things. I'll try and put some links below for you for eBay. Tool number 4 is a LED light. As I say, you can use your mobile phone. Most people normally have a mobile phone on them. But if not, you can get yourself like a small LED torch. And then lastly, if you've then got a really stiff like helicoid on the old Leica lenses, sometimes the grease all kind of clogs up and so it won't turn very easily. If you dismantle them, you can clean off the old grease by using either lighter fluid or 99% alcohol, and then you need to reapply grease. And one great tip I got from Toby, my patron, on our call we did the other day is first you buy yourself some grease, and it comes in different grades like this. So, and it'll say on it, good for helicoids, or good for, there you go, good for helicoids. And then it depends if you think, well, if you've got more than one lens, some lenses might be move really easily and like be almost like too loose. And you're like, oh, I wish it had a bit more friction. Then other lenses have got loads of friction and you're like, oh, I wish it had a bit less friction. The beauty of this is you can clean your lens down with this, and then you can apply different types or different amounts of grease to then give you the friction that you need. So the amazing tip that Toby told us on our Zoom call the other night was tip number 1, don't put like one stripe of grease in a couple of places like you might do if you're doing oiling your bike or something, because if you think about it, if there's any grease in one part, one area, it's going to be like smooth, smooth, smooth. When you turn the focus, it's going to be like smooth, smooth, and then go slow, and then go smooth, and then go slow, where the grease slows it down. So the way to give you a smooth running all the way around is you paint on a very small thin line of grease all the way around on one of the threads on the helicoid on the inside. And then if you want more friction, you paint on another line all the way around. And then basically the more grease you add, the more friction you'll get, so the more resistance you'll have when you turn your helicoid. And when I'm talking about helicoid, you need to take the optical block out, and then this bit's your helicoid, and it's going to be this thread against this body, which is the bit that you would grease, not the outside, because the outside's just the bit that attaches to your camera. So hopefully that makes sense. And then have I got anything else? Or the only other tool, it doesn't relate to cleaning, is if you burn a hole in your shutter. I have done a video on this in the past. You can apply liquid electrical tape, which is like liquid rubber. Add maybe 2 or 3 or more applications and let them dry each time. And then that way, hopefully you can fix your own Leica shutter curtain if you burn a hole in it. I don't know if this M3's got a hole in it or not. One of them has. There you go. So that's a hole that I repaired some years ago in my M3, and I did make a video. And then I've just done the same to one of my Leica 3 cameras using the same tool. So that's a bonus tip. So super simple. I can't stress enough how easy it is to dismantle some of the older lenses. I definitely wouldn't attempt an autofocus lens, and I definitely wouldn't attempt a zoom lens, for example, because they're going to have lots more moving parts inside. But if it's something like this, a super simple like 1930s lens or a very simple 1950s lens, it's definitely worth having a go. Maybe start with a really cheap lens from eBay, like a Soviet Industar or something like that, Jupiter 8. Try dismantling it and see if you can clean it up, and then work your way up, and then maybe later attempt your more expensive Leica lenses. The only thing I would say is that I noticed, and then Toby backed us up, as you can imagine, there's lots of different elements within a lens. So let's say it's got 6 elements. You've got the outer element, this one. You've then got the next one. You've got one on the back, and then you've got the aperture in the center, the holes to remove it. And the problem you sometimes have is some elements are cemented together, and sometimes I think it's called the resin that holds the 2 glass elements together starts to separate, and that's really difficult to clean. That's quite common in lenses like the Canon rangefinder lenses, such as this Canon 51.8. So this is an existing problem in the Canon. So I'll clean it up the best I can, but I'm not going to actually be able to fix easily the cemented elements. It is possible if you're good at this stuff, but for now, if we're just looking at the basics, that's the basics. Okay, I better stop to keep this video short. Hope it inspires you to clean up or open up some of your lenses to see if you can clean them. Just be really careful, because the inner elements are softer glass than the outer elements, especially on old lenses. So on old lenses, the outer elements are also soft, such as these old Leica lenses, and then the inner elements are even softer. So make sure you use a really soft cloth and really gentle pressure. There's lots of really good how-to videos on YouTube on particular lenses, so don't use this as a guide. Use this as what tools you might want to buy. Then maybe search for, I don't know, how to CLA like a summer lens on YouTube, and then that will give you a better example of exactly how each piece goes together. As always, a huge thanks to my amazing patrons, and a special thanks to Toby, who inspired me to dismantle my first lens, and he helped me buy some of the equipment that I bought. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you in a few days. Bye.